Coming up, Eve gets sent packing with some removals, I camp it up with 2 motorhomes, and Brian shows us his used van of the week.
It was great being a kid, all those long hot summers, and there was nothing better than dreaming about playing soldiers. But childhood fantasies aside, it's not many of us adults ever get the chance to live out our boyhood dreams. Well, that's exactly what we're going to do on tonight's show, as we look at some of the toughest machinery on the road with the help of the British Army. Now, you might think you get a real sense of power with your off-roaders and your MPVs, but for great road presence, you need one of these mean and mighty fighting machines like this Chieftain tank. But this being the truck show, we're here to see the real muscle, the stuff that's really tough. We're here to see the trucks that take the tanks to the front line.
Used for rapid deployment of the Army's heavy armour, the Unipower Commander tank transporter is perhaps the ultimate vehicle haulier.
It's 625 brake horse at 2,100 revs, Arlington semi-automatic pre-select. The centre axle drives all the time unless you put the diff lock in. And when you select the diff lock, the rear axle drives as well. It does 1k per litre, if you're lucky.
Fitted with a Rolls-Royce CV12 turbocharged V12 diesel engine, the Commander has a gross combination weight of an unbelievable 104 tonnes.
To say it's a bit different than your average truck is a bit of an understatement. It's taken me about 20 minutes to get to know how to drive it. So we've got an Allison semi-automatic 6B gearbox. We've got a Chieftain tank that's weighing about 50 to 60 tonnes at the back of us, and you can certainly tell it. But having said that, it is really good on the uptake. You get a great feel of power, and as I've already been told, you've got to drive it very aggressive. Moving through the gearbox is really good. The biggest problem is moving down the gearbox. It is really weird. You've actually got to stop like this, put your foot on the accelerator, on the brake like this, wait till it slow down, and then put the revs really high and drop her down a gear. Now, it takes a while to get used to that. The biggest thing also you notice, it's wide. The trailer at the back is wider than the cab. Plus the fact I've not driven that many bonneted vehicles. Most of the stuff that I've driven is European, and it's been mainly over cab standard stuff. So you're quite a way off the front as well.
The Campbell Commander is powered by a Rolls-Royce 625 brake horsepower engine and matched to a 6-speed semi-automatic gearbox. It also features a gearbox retarder for controlled braking and has a cross and interaxle diff locks for increased off-road capability.
That's it for our tank transporters, but join me later in the show when we'll be having a look at the drops vehicle.
Hiya, Eve here. Now today I'm in Nelson and I'm here to meet Dave. Now he runs a furniture removal company and we're going to ask him how he's modified his truck to suit his job. He's just loading the truck up at the moment. He's over here, so follow me. So Dave, how long have you had the truck then?
We got it brand new about 2.5 years ago.
So what do you get in back of here? Settees, beds?
Yeah, well, most of our work is furniture deliveries, either to warehouses or to people's houses. And the home delivery side is an expanding part of the business. So it's, in general, it's all furniture that we carry.
So how have you modified this truck then?
When you buy a truck, you buy the chassis and the cab from one person, and then somebody else builds the body. So we specified what we wanted, which was the GRP, which gives a good clean lines on the outside for your sign writing, and it's also quite resistant to damage from trees. And then we had the drop well put in and these flaps, so we can either load off a loading bay or we can put the ramps on to climb in. This truck's done some exhibition work to Europe, but in general it's Arctics that go to Europe.
Yeah. And does that mean it's got a bed in the back then?
Well, this one's got 2 beds in. Oh. Because the market's increasing into more and more private deliveries, we're having to send 2-man teams. So the driver's away for 3 or 4 nights a week, and because they're doing private deliveries of settees, then there has to be accommodation for 2 of them.
Why has it not got one of them on the back here? You know those, what do you call them?
Tail lifts.
That's one.
We do have vehicles with those on, but at the time we bought this, we didn't have specific work for that type of vehicle.
Right.
But since then, we've got some work delivering these wine cabinets,
Okay.
which are quite heavy.
I'm going to say, well, how the hell do you get them off the back of the truck then?
Well, these boards lift up,
Right.
and then there's a ramp underneath the back, which we
Right.
can attach to it, and then you just put a trolley under it and wheel it out.
Talking about breakdowns, how many times a year do you have it serviced? Because obviously this is a very important part of your job.
Yeah, well, the actual service interval on this is 60,000 kilometres, but we have it inspected every 6 weeks.
Oh, that's good.
But there's a legal requirement for inspections for safety.
Right.
But Mercedes specify 60,000 K's service, but in between that we have it inspected for safety.
Well, I'm out with Dave now to deliver settees and make people's day. So from me, Threlkeld, till next time, take care. Dave, I know my precious low, but this is taking the piss.
Now, you might think that the fashion for cavorting in a caravan should be better left to people like Sid James and Barbara Windsor in the Carry On films. And throughout the 60s, the trend for caravanning has gone from strength to strength. And we're not just talking about your Auntie Doris and her poodle on a wet weekend in Margate. These are the BMWs of motorhomes.
I think a lot of people have got a bug to go and get away from the rat race, you know, especially when they retire. Long distance touring, certainly a lot of sunnier climates sort.
Tonight we're featuring the Buccaneer Coaster based on Ford's Transit chassis cab and the Compass Cruiser 750 based on Peugeot's Boxer. Both are 4-berth but with completely different layouts. So what do you look for when you're buying a motorhome?
There are a lot of people that do ask questions about particular chassis. They show a preference for either Fiat, Peugeot, etc. Certain reasons for chassis purchase will be Ford, for example, options of automatics, which Fiat, Peugeot don't do at the present. That sort of thing is quite important in their minds.
Well, I must admit this is the first time I've actually been inside our motorhome and I'm really impressed. But let's have a look at the interior in a bit more detail. In fact, are you making a brew? Hiya, how do you take it? Make mine white with 2 sugars, please. Okay, here we are in the living area. This is a 4-berth, so it should be 4 adults here seated round. Isn't a problem. In fact, you could probably get another couple of people. Then, at night time, this makes a double bed, this makes a double bed, and this makes a nice, cosy single. That's great, thanks very much. In fact, while you're in the kitchen, why don't you show them round? Oh, of course I will, no problem. If you have a look inside it, I've got a lovely oven and grill here, single oven there as well. And then over here, I've got a wonderful sink. A nice fridge as well, no freezer though. And then if we go in here, come and look at the shower. Now, the one thing I like about this motorhome, it's got lots and lots of storage space, and it's got a lovely wardrobe, and keep all my pretty dresses in here. Now, Tim, do you want to take it for a test drive? Yeah, go on, I'll take it out. I just love that pinny though. So, here we are on the Transit, based on the Buccaneer Coaster. First thing you notice about it is it is noisy, but not as noisy as expected first of all. The gearbox, 5-speed gearbox, Ford Transit gearbox, very, very nice indeed, very close at hand. If we then look at the steering, isn't as good as I expected. It does wallow this vehicle slightly, but maybe Ford could do with either strengthening the anti-roll bars or upping the suspension slightly. I mean, on the rev wise, it sits nicely. This is a 50-mile-an-hour area. We're sitting on 50 mile an hour. We're doing about 2,000 revs, so that's very, very comfortable indeed. But the question that I was wanting to answer myself was, how does it drive against driving it as a standard van? And yes, there is a difference. it is a little bit slower. The pickup's a bit slower because you've got a lot more on board when it's unladen. Chassis is a Ford Transit. The engine is a 2.5 TDI Duratorque and a 5-speed gearbox. It's got a gross vehicle mass of 3,500 kilograms and an unladen mass of 2,881 kilograms, and the price is 34,700. So join me after the break when we'll see if the Buccaneer Coaster can match this, the Compass Cruiser. So here we enter in the middle. As you can see, the layout's completely different. And as Simon told us earlier in the programme, people choose these sort of vehicles through chassis design and also layout. So here we are at the end of the motorhome, and this is where the bathroom area is. And I don't know about you, but this is certainly bigger than our bathroom at home. We've got toilet down here, nice wash basin, plenty of storage space, and across here we've got the bathroom and the shower unit. How did you get in there? That's got rid of him anyway. Right, here we are in the kitchen area. First thing we're going to look at is the fridge freezer. Nice freezer here on top of the fridge. The fridge is quite large size. In fact, it's larger than the one at our house. And on this side, we've got a gas oven with a grill and then 4 gas jets here. Got a sink, we can take this top off, stow it away on here. And then by the side of the sink, got plenty of storage area. Let's go into the living room now. So here we are inside the living area. As you said, this is a 4-berth motorhome. You've got plenty of room here to seat 4 adults. And in fact, you could have 4 adults and a couple of friends as well, no problem whatsoever. Now, at night time, this area and the area above me convert into double beds. Let's go and see how we can do it. Now, one thing I have noticed is the area at the bottom, that converts to a double bed as well, but the ladders here interfere with the double bed. So I would suggest that if you've got some friends, make sure they come to bed early. That's it for the interior. Let's go out on the road, see how it drives. So here we are inside the Cruiser with obviously the Peugeot chassis cab. First thing you notice is it's a lot easier to get into the driver's seat compared to the Transit. The Transit we had, if you remember, we had the handbrake and we also had the gear lever. None of that in the Peugeot, a really big plus. The handbrake is on the right hand side and the gear lever is what I really do love, as you probably all know, a gear dashboard mounted gear lever. And the other thing you can tell is Transit is definitely new generation. Don't matter what it is on vans, it's a new generation van. The Boxer is definitely old generation. You can tell straight away with the instrument panel, the layout is very, very basic indeed, but comfortable for those that are used to it. The gearbox itself is a bit harsh and certainly it's a lot noisier in here. We're now at 40 miles an hour and we're on just under 2,000 revs. If you remember on the Transit, we were doing about 50 miles an hour on 2,000 revs, so it is working a lot harder. Don't forget this is a 2.8 engine compared to the Transit's 2.4. Stability wise, this vehicle is not as stable as the Transit. It certainly does wobble a hell of a lot, and certainly a lot more than I expected. Now whether that's because it's a particularly blustery day today, I don't know. The chassis is a Peugeot Boxer with a 2.8 TDI engine, a 5-speed gearbox, a gross vehicle mass of 3,850 kilograms and an unladen mass of 3,121 kilograms, and the price is 41,250. Oh, blue skies, sunshine. Oh no, it's raining. That's the one problem we've got with motorhomes, it's English weather. But as we've seen throughout this series in trucks, we've had drop siders, we've had fridges, we've had curtain siders, we've had motorhomes now. The use for commercial vehicles is very wide and varied. We've had £7,000 difference between these two vehicles, so it's very difficult to make a comparison. But what it has gone to prove is the fact that if you want a Palace on wheels, you can have it, as long as you've got the wallet to match. Earlier in the show, you'd have seen me with the Army's tank transporter. That's fine if you want to move a tank, but what happens if you want to shift a whole army? This next vehicle takes travel packing to a whole new level.
The drops vehicles, or to give them the correct title, the mountable rack, offload and pickup system, are the logistical backbone of the British Army. Carrying everything from flat racks and containers to munitions, they are never far from the action.
The horsepower of the vehicle is 350 brake horsepower. The gearbox is a fully automatic 6-speed gearbox. Normally we carry containerised or palletised loads. The gross vehicle weight of this vehicle is 30.27 tonnes. The vehicle is an 8x6. We have been stuck in it a few times, but it has its own recovery system. The tank holds 272 litres and has a range of about 313 miles or 500 kilometres.
The vehicles have a payload of 15 tonnes and are capable of towing on and off the highway a fully loaded trailer, giving a gross tow weight of some 52 tonnes.
So primarily it's a load handling system. First of all, you do notice though is it's got an excellent turning circle. This is quite a big vehicle, but it turns round virtually on a sixpence. Below me on the right hand side we've actually got a traction control system where I've got the cross diff locks, which lock obviously the second set of diffs. We've got front wheel drive, and we've also got an interaxle diff lock as well. We've got 5 controls there, and that will control how we pick up the equipment and drop it off again, because this is essential for this sort of vehicle. I mean, it's just like driving your normal 8-wheel tipper.
The Drops is essentially an 8x6 configuration with a Perkins Eagle 6-cylinder turbocharged diesel rated at 350 horsepower, matched to a ZF automatic 6-speed gearbox with Kirkstall hub reduction drive axles.
Well, that's it from Drops. But join me later in the show when we're going to do a spot of do-it-yourself bridge building.
One of the best engineered vans on the market. Does it have any problems? Is it too expensive? Let's go and have a look, shall we? Mercedes-Benz 312 diesel Sprinter. Now this is a long wheelbase version. This has a semi-high top. Now the thing you need to look out for on these vans, one slight problem we have, they do suffer with axle noises. You can get a lot of noise from these axles, also wheel bearing noise. Get it checked out, get a long road test on it. Also again, check service history on them. Very important on one of these. Let's go and have a look inside, see what we got. In excess of 4 metres of load area. An absolutely beautiful wide van, nicely ply lined on the sides. You can put tyre hooks all on the side for security. Also, this has a steel semi-high top roof. Now this is a much better quality roof than glassonite or fiberglass. As you'd expect from a Mercedes, good level of trim inside the cabin. Now this vehicle's done 130,000 miles. Look at the condition of the seats and the rest of the trim. Immaculate condition, exactly what you'd expect. Good layout, everything to hand, a very good driving position. But are there any problems? There's one major problem, gearbox. Now these do suffer with a rear gearbox bearing. You need to have them checked. Get a mechanic to check it over or an outside authority. Check it for oil leaks, check to see if there has been a bearing replacement, because if it does need doing, it's expensive. Now let's go under the bonnet and see what makes it tick. Under the bonnet on this one, we have a 2.5 litre diesel engine. Now you can also get 2.8 litre diesel. That's normally in the long wheelbase high roof version. This has got anti-locking brakes with it. It's a good mechanical engine, not too many problems with it. You must make sure that you get a good service history with it. A good service on one of these is going to cost in excess of £300, so make sure everything's been done. If you buy from a dealer, you'll get a warranty. Very important on that. You found the Mercedes that you like, 1998 on an S-plate, done 130,000 miles. Now for a vehicle like that, you pay £9,000, plus VAT, 17.5%, don't forget. Before you hand over your hard cash, get that vehicle checked out. You can get an outside person to come in, go through it, do a proper inspection. It won't cost you a lot, can save you a fortune. The dealer certainly won't mind.
Welcome back to our British Army truck special. Now, if like me you've ever got stuck in traffic and wish you could build your own escape route, these next vehicles could be the ones for you. Okay, so it can't actually build you a whole new road, but what it can do is carry enough equipment to build your very own bridge.
It's got very smooth power range all the way up to your top speed, which is 50 miles an hour.
The Tank Bridge Transporter, or TBT as it's more commonly known, is able to self-load from and offload straight to the ground. Able to carry a variation of different sized bridges, Unipower TBT has a maximum top speed of just under 50 miles an hour, which allows rapid response to any situation.
This wagon has got a good fording depth of up to 0.75 of a metre.
Another aid to the TBT rapid response is its ability to tackle the most challenging of terrains. The 8x8 configuration means the TBT is able to get alongside even the muddiest of riverbanks.
Basically it'll go anywhere where a tank can go.
The TBT is a left-hand drive of 8x8 configuration, powered by Perkins Eagle 400 brake horsepower air-to-air charge-cooled engine. It has a ZF automatic transmission coupled with a ZF transfer box to provide a permanently engaged all-wheel drive via lockable interaxle differentials and an axle cross-lock. So as you can see, the Army have got vehicles for all occasions, whether you're transporting tanks or building bridges. But let's not forget, all these are geared up to get the vehicles up to the front line. Next week, our 7.5 tonne middleweights go head to head. And Brian will give us another used van top tip.